I believe that identitarianism will be the death of everything good in the world. Both the right and the left preach their own form of identitarianism. You've got white, you've got black, you've got gay, you've got straight, you've got American, you've got Middle Eastern. All of those things, and more, used as reasons to attack another group. And the media perpetuates these ideas every day. You see it, you go on both ways, left or right. Everyone encouraging you to listen to them and no one else, because they are right. Everyone on the other side is wrong, plain and simple. Everyone you disagree with is an idiot. Completely ignore them no matter what they say. People who take the middle road will get attacked by both sides. Those who listen and try to understand are called traitors and cast out. Those who sit down and talk have violence thrusted upon them because we have made it okay to use violence against those who are on the other side. Let's not forget the sudden rise in lying about an individual in the pursuit to smear them. Instead of using ideas and speech to communicate and understand, create discourse, create dialogue, we have people who would rather never compromise and exaggerate someone else's belief to get them cast out of the morally correct people as a whole. But all of this, all it does is hurt everyone in the long run. Dividing friends, family, people of all creeds, based on ideas that instead of being used to discuss and develop as individuals, are forced onto each other until either one concedes and accepts the other person's idea, or they cut each other off, never to hear it from each other again because neither won the exchange. And now it's becoming increasingly popular for people to commit violence to push this divide even further, to manipulate a toxic culture which we have built for ourselves and use it to push everyone apart from one another, and we are playing into his hands. Wanting to get upset at something is natural, but it doesn't make you more right or more wrong because you're upset. And worse, it'll make you act regardless of whether you are right or wrong. It's something all of us need to learn to control. But now we are at a crossroads. We have someone who has come out of the woodwork and is using our own emotions against us, and it's working. Left-wing outlets spilling their usual spiel about how gun laws have to go, Donald Trump and PewDiePie are responsible, and everyone who thinks otherwise is an idiot who should just be cast out or converted. Right-wing outlets reacting by saying it's the anti-white sentiment, attacks on free speech, and the left's ridiculous identitarian nonsense that caused this man to go out and do what he did. In reality, both play into his hands, as they relentlessly bicker and argue about what's right and what's wrong, villainizing each other without realizing what's really wrong. With every second they continue to blame each other, they're causing more people all over the world to split apart more and more. This man used guns because he knew people would be split on the gun debate. He mentions PewDiePie and Trump because he knew people would argue over that. He knew exactly what he was doing when he committed this attack. After he did it, and I listened to the history about where he came from, what he did, why he did it, and then realized that all of the media outlets were referencing a manifesto that he posted. The first thing I thought was, okay, information's out to the public. Everyone knows why he did it. No one's going to do exactly what he wants, right? That's what I thought. But something felt off to me. We have the manifesto. We know why he did it. But we heard the exact same excuses all the time. He was called a fascist, which he admitted to. he was called a white supremacist, which he didn't, oddly enough, agree to in the manifesto. You see, I went and I read the manifesto myself. I thought something was off when I was listening to it all being said by each outlet. And I'm talking left and right. I like to read both and watch both. But I thought something was wrong, so I just went out, found it, which was annoyingly difficult, but I did find it, and I read it. He outlines his entire plan to manipulate the media to divide people further. He outlines it perfectly, clearly, and concisely. And for some inexplainable reason, they all do it anyway. He states very clearly that he brought up these topics to stir up divide and hatred, because his plan was to get people hating each other enough so that one side overextends its hand and tries to control the other, forcing the other to fight back. Specifically, he wanted to use a gun because he thought that it would push people enough in the United States to remove the Second Amendment, which would cause the other half of America to fight back violently in order to defend their right. That was his plan. That's what he said. And you would think, because of that, a self-respecting outlet, or what I assumed was a self-respecting outlet like CNN, would think, okay, let's not push this from a gun control angle, because that's exactly what the killer wanted. It is exactly what the killer wanted. But they did it anyway. Because we're getting to a point where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the killer wanted this or not. They're going to use this event to push their ideology further. They're going to use the death of individuals to push an idea that the killer wanted. This manifesto was so clear and out on the day that any right or left-wing outlet, regardless, I found it, could have gone up and read it, realized what he was planning, and acted against it. But they didn't. They did exactly what he thought they would do. They read it quickly, picked the parts that he knew they would take out of context and use to push their narrative, and they posted it everywhere. It's viral. You can't go through any social media outlet without seeing it. These are supposed to be news outlets that want the good of the people to shine through, and truth above everything else to shine through. Free speech, discussion, debate, and truth. They don't stand for that. This alone proves it. They have narratives that they want to push, and all they're going to do is push it. Now, I don't want this to be misconstrued as an attack on every news outlet or any person who presents news ever. I'm sure there's a few that I haven't seen. I haven't watched anything with Philip DeFranco in a while, which I've been meaning to get back to. I only briefly watched Steven Crowder, and I gave Tim Pool a watch on this topic, but most of what I learned was through the mainstream media. So, from what I've seen, the alternative news networks, I'll call them, the YouTube personalities, seemed to target what I'm targeting in this video better than all the mainstream outlets that I've seen. One of CNN's biggest headlines was that Donald Trump was written up as a renewed white icon or something along those lines. That was one of the things that was their biggest headlines for a while. When immediately after that, like the sentence where that is said in the manifesto, the sentence after that is followed up by him saying that he doesn't agree with any of the policies that Donald Trump is implementing. So all of those racist policies that Donald Trump has apparently implemented, this guy didn't agree with at all. And there are a few things in there that I saw that was also interesting. There was a rumor going around that the man was delusional, thinking he was in the United States military, but I went through and read the manifesto and realized that it was a copy pasta. It's a joke that whenever somebody threatens someone, they pretend to be a US Navy SEAL or something, and they write how they're gonna hunt down this kid or whatever. Like, it's an obvious shitpost for anyone on the internet. But somehow the rumor got out there that this man was super crazy and psychotic, which, don't get me wrong, he is, but in a different way. He legitimately thought he was part of the Navy SEALs, which he obviously wasn't if you knew the context to that copy pasta. And I'm not going to blame mainstream media for making people think that, but it wouldn't surprise me if mainstream media was the reason that rumor was getting around. The plan was there, to be seen, plainly. It was out in the open. Anybody with half a brain cell could go up and figure out what he wanted. And even though people could have done that, these big mainstream media corporations still failed to stop him from achieving what he wanted to achieve. They were so caught up in pushing their own narrative that they played right into the fact that the biggest weapon that this man had in his arsenal was them. And they did it anyway. Am I saying that this guy is a mastermind and that he's manipulating people left, right, like 4D chess? No. I don't believe he was really that smart. The things that he's doing are playing into very simple and easy to understand concepts that somebody who's mildly into politics would be able to understand. But when these media outlets can see what he's trying to do and then let it happen, it makes you wonder how much they really care about their viewers. Be your own person in the world. Don't let your identity be the reason that you do something. We all want a place to be in the world. We all want to be someone. We want to feel like we're a piece of the puzzle that falls exactly where it's supposed to be. We all crave that. But whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, don't let that be how you put yourself in your place. Don't let that be how you feel comfortable where you are. Be whoever you want. Be whatever you want. But don't let an identity be what drove you there. Be an individual. Be who you want to be. Not what your race or sexuality or ethnicity or belief system tells you you should be. Everyone's just trying to be happy in life. And there's no excuse to stamp on someone else's happiness in the pursuit of your own. Before I wrap this up, out of nothing but respect, my heart goes out to all of the families and friends who've lost people in this tragedy, and I wish nothing but love and support for all of you. Thank you.